Welcome to the Principles of Success. My name is Nathan, and this is Season 1, Episode 21. And this month, we are talking about persistence, also known as tenacity. And if there's one thing I am good at, out of all these principles, it is persistence. I have countless disadvantages, as I'm sure most of you do as well, but the one advantage that I have that makes up for everything is I don't know how to give up. A great example of this is my little brother is now stronger than me and is more capable at wrestling by a long shot than I am. However, he has still yet to ever actually beat me. Because even if he pins, because I refuse to lose out of sheer will, he'll pin me and then we'll spend the next 20 minutes with him trying to maintain that pin until I break free. I have willed myself out of many a loss, but I seriously doubt I'll ever be able to beat him as things are. I'll have to bulk up. That's another thing that I've yet to give up on, is trying to bulk up, even though I have a million disadvantages for that as well. Success comes to the people who endure the most. The last one standing wins. So, do you have tenacity? Can you endure? Remember, life is going to throw a whole bunch of crap at you, and you need to endure. Endurance is one of the most important principles there are. In a gospel sense, for my LDS listeners, there's a reason why the last principle of the gospel is endure to the end. It is what brings everything, is the end result. Results are all that matter. If you endure, you will win. It's as simple as that. So, how do you endure? That goes back to mindset, making sure that you keep your mind positive and healthy and that you're enjoying what you're doing. It's a whole lot easier to endure fun things than it is to endure crappy things. So you have to say no to giving up, and you have to keep trying. You gotta try and try and try. If one thing fails, you have to try a different thing. If that thing fails, you have to try a different thing. You have to keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going until you win. That's pretty much it. You just have to keep going until you win. And we'll talk more about that in a different episode. But you have to say no to giving up. You have to make sure that as you strive and life throws things at you, that you don't just quit. That's why having your why is super important. If you don't have a why, it's a whole lot easier to give up. If you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, you're going to give up. You have to say no. You have to keep trying. And you just have to go a little farther. Sometimes that finish line seems so far away, but it could be just right around the corner and you'd never know. Now, sometimes you have some dumb ideas, and they're not going to work no matter how long you work at it. And you have to figure that out for yourself if that's one of those things. But more often, people give up on good ideas before they let them have time to bear fruits, basically. That's where being patient comes super important. If you're not patient, you're not willing to sacrifice for an extended period of time and endure for that period of time, odds are you will not succeed, because it takes time. You're not going to become successful overnight. You're not going to become a millionaire overnight. You're not going to get that sexy body overnight. You're not going to get the relationship of your dreams overnight. You're not going to solve all of your problems in life overnight. You're not going to become perfect overnight. So, You just have to keep going at it, keep working at it, keep striving, because what else is there? If you quit, what's going to happen? Problem is, quitting seems a whole lot easier. But you have two choices. You can either climb that mucky, hard mountain, or you can stay down in despair and filth. Are you going to put in the effort to make a good relationship work? Or are you going to be depressed and drive everyone away from you, which makes you more depressed? Are you going to strive for happiness? Or are you going to accept misery? Are you going to strive for health? Or are you going to accept poor health and disease and tiredness and sickness and lack of energy and unable to enjoy life and pain? Pain is a big one with unhealth. There's a lot of pain when you're unhealthy. There's a lot of pain when you're healthy too, but are you going to give up? Are you going to accept that that is the life that you're going to live for the rest of your life? The biggest problem that I had with my first job is because I had forgotten about entrepreneurship. Somehow I'd gotten, even though my mom is extremely entrepreneurial and never did anything to dim my entrepreneurial spirit, somehow during adolescence, my entrepreneurial spirit had been completely killed and I'd forgotten about it. So when I got my first job and I realized how much that job sucked, that job was by far the worst job that I think exists. Well, that's not true, but it's definitely leaps and bounds the worst job that I've ever had. When I got that first job, I went into some major depression because in my mind, I was going to have to deal with this kind of life for the rest of my life. And that was not worth living. I was suicidal and I was not going to put up with that job for the next 40 years of my life. Luckily, I've gotten better jobs since, and I've drastically reignited my entrepreneurial flame into a roaring bonfire. But when you give up, you're consigning yourself to a fate of mediocrity. When you give up, you're giving up your hopes, your dreams, everything that's worth living, because to you it was just too hard to pay. And that goes back to the quote that I talked about last month. You can either do the hard things now so you can have an easy life, or you can do the easy things now and have a hard life. If it's too hard for you and you quit, then you're going to have a hard life. So make sure that you don't quit. Make sure that you endure. And just go a little farther. And say no to giving up. And you have to be determined. If you're not determined to succeed, life's going to be hard. And with that lack of determination, you're going to give up. You're not going to have the ability to endure. And I wish I could give you some advice on how to be more tenacious. I don't know. It's something that I happened to develop naturally. Part of that was because I had so many problems growing up that there was two options. I could either have given up and I probably would be dead, or I could be tenacious. I ended up being tenacious, and I can't take all of the credit for that. I had some great parents that helped me miraculously because they were tenacious as well. I still don't know how my dad worked for like 6 years off of like 3 hours of sleep. But you have to be tenacious. And the only way I know of becoming more tenacious is going through the hard stuff. So it's a momentum loop. The more you endure, the more you're able to endure. So I don't wish anything bad to you, but if you need to learn to be more enduring, I hope you get a whole bunch of crap thrown at you. Anyway, I think think I'm going to end that there. I don't know if that was long or short for today, but I will see you all next week. And if you got some value out of it, please share. And let me know if you have any ideas on how to become more tenacious. Again, message me at, the easiest way to contact me is on Instagram, and it is Nathan Dickeson. And how you spell that is NATHANDICKESON. You can also email me at nathandickeson@gmail.com. Same spelling. So, I will see you all next week.